Loyalty is a word that has shaped empires, defined relationships, and now, perhaps surprisingly, drives trillion-dollar industries through a single column in a spreadsheet. For me personally, loyalty shows up in many ways. A clear example, my unwavering commitment to Apple products. iPhones, MacBooks, AirPods, even an iPad. As I film this video, I'm literally monitoring the camera through an iPad. When I ask myself why I'm loyal to that company, is it just about the product? Maybe Android is technically superior to iPhone. Windows likely offers more software variety than MacBook. And let's be honest, there are earphones out there that outperform AirPods at a fraction of the cost. Yet year after year, I invest thousands in Apple. Why? To answer that question, I had to dig a bit deeper. In this exploration, I'll trace loyalty path from ancient oaths to modern algorithms and try to understand how this evolution could transform your business and customer relationships in the digital age. I've always had a hunch that loyalty is more than just habit or preference. It's sometimes deeply cultural. But until recently, I couldn't back that up with hard evidence. Now, I can. Welcome to my channel. My name is Jeff Tiley and I'm CRM Consultant. CRM stands for Customer Relationship Management, software that helps you manage client relationships at scale. Today, I'm diving into the history, psychology, and technology behind loyalty. So make sure to subscribe to my channel and get yourself comfortable. Let's begin. For us humans, loyalty might just be one of the original survival strategies. Our modern lives look nothing like those of our ancestors, yet traces of ancient social instincts still show up every day. We stick with favorite bands, we commit to one partner, and we return to the same grocery store, car brand, or author. The behavior isn't random, it's evolutionary. Historically, those who stayed loyal to their tribes had better chances of survival. That instinct baked into our DNA left an imprint on our cultures. In early communities, for example, loyalty to family, clan, or tribe was paramount. Betrayal wasn't just immoral, it was fatal. Many tribes enforced loyalty with strict codes, often reinforced by the fear of exile or even death. But what's truly fascinating is how loyalty evolved alongside humanity's earliest record-keeping. Around 3000 BC, Sumerian merchants began documenting transactions on clay tablets. These weren't just receipts, they were detailed ledgers of orders, debts, and agreements. In essence, the first customer databases. Even back then, merchants knew remembering your customers was good business. Around 2,500 to 2000 BC, in ancient Mesopotamia and Egypt, loyalty became divine. Rulers weren't just political leaders, they were gods or chosen by them. Obedience wasn't just expected, it was cosmically mandated. Seems far away from our lives today, right? Or maybe not so different after all. Oh, but before we continue, I would like to thank a sponsor of today's video, my company, Monthly. Monthly is a CRM consultancy. If you happen to need help with your customer relationship management system, you know the game. Link in the description below. By the 500s BC, loyalty evolved again, this time in the teachings of Confucius. The concept of zhong, translated as loyalty or fidelity, became an ethical cornerstone. Loyalty extended beyond rulers to include family, elders, and institutions. This helped shape the Chinese imperial system, where duty to the emperor went hand in hand with devotion to one's kin. Meanwhile, in Greco-Roman world, loyalty took a more personal turn. Merchants used wax tablet to track customer accounts, though most still relied on memory and reputation. Business was relational. A handshake sealed the deal. Trust was everything. And then came Rome. During the Republic, so-called pietas, or Latin word for devotion to family, gods, and the state, was considered a sacred duty. Roman soldiers swore annual oaths of loyalty not just to the Republic, but to their commanding generals. These oaths, known as sacramentum, were powerful tools of cohesion. Then, from the 1st century up to approximately 17th, loyalty ebbed and flowed, sometimes expanding to include nations and sometimes retreating back to tribal instincts. But everything changed in 1776 and 1789. The American and French revolutions redefined loyalty. No longer pledged to a king, people were now loyal to ideas. The Constitution, the Republic, La Nation, I hope I pronounced that properly. In France, even the language shifted. Treason came to mean betrayal of the people, not the monarch. Citizens swore loyalty to the nation and the king. He was demoted and later completely abolished. And as loyalty became nationalized, innovation in business relationship management kept pace. In Tang Dynasty, 7th to 10th century, counting houses tracked deposits and client relationships. In the Abbasid Caliphate, Muslim traders developed the sak, a precursor to checks, underpinned by detailed ledgers. By the 19th century, the idea of national loyalty had gone global. People identified with flags, anthems, and republics. The US Pledge of Allegiance, written in 1892, was designed to instill patriotism in school children. Meanwhile, newly independent Latin American nations replaced mercenary armies with national forces bound by civic oath. This was loyalty's shift from personal to institutional. By the 20th century, loyalty was formalized. New citizens pledged allegiance. Soldiers swore to uphold constitutions. In the US, the oath of office binds public servants to defend the constitution, not a person. In monarchies like the UK and Canada, loyalty to the monarch is in practice loyalty to the constitutional state. But loyalty also had a darker side. Totalitarian regimes demanded it absolutely. Hitler replaced oaths to the German constitution with oaths to himself. In the USSR, loyalty to Lenin in the party was drilled into the citizens from the childhood. As governments refined the ways they demanded loyalty, businesses were doing the same, but more collaboratively. In 12th century in Europe, tally sticks recorded debts between merchants and customers. Each party held one half, creating a tamper-proof record. Think of it as medieval blockchain. Then came Luca Pacioli in 1494 with double-entry bookkeeping. This was the first true customer relationship management system. It tracked the story of each customer, not just their balance. In the 18th century, American shopkeepers handed out copper tokens redeemable in future purchases, a primitive loyalty program. Then, in 1896, S&H green stamps arrived. Customers earned stamps for purchases, redeeming them for goods. The point system we all know today. It all started there. Department stores soon followed with metal charge coins, the first store credit cards. Each coin linked to a customer's unique ID and ledger. These weren't just about payments, they were about deepening the relationship. The 1950s ushered with legendary Rolodex. Contact cards are rotated by hand. It was the physical embodiment of customer memory. Salespeople protected their Rolodexes fiercely because they knew their relationship was the business. And that's where the story gets even more interesting. In the 1960s, room-sized mainframes gave businesses something new: digital memory. No more handwritten ledgers. Now you could store thousands of customer records electronically. Through the 70s, these systems matured, but it was the 80s that database marketing changed the game. Robert and Kate Kestenbaum took things beyond storage. They used statistical models to analyze behavior and predict outcomes. This was the birth of something big: customer lifetime value. We'll talk about that in a bit. Suddenly, companies could pinpoint their most valuable customers, understand buying patterns, and personalize communication. Gut instincts gave way to data. Then came 1981. American Airlines launched A-Advantage, the first frequent flyer program powered by digital tracking. It wasn't just a loyalty card. It was a data engine. It gave rewards to travelers and insights to the airline. Its success sparked an industry-wide stampede. In 1986, an invention appeared on the market called ACT, which is abbreviation for Activity Control Technology. It's first customer relationship management software that finally replaced Rolodex. Salespeople could store contact info, meeting notes, and reminders on a computer. It was a quiet revolution in sales. Surprisingly, this software survived all those years in the industry and maintains active customer base of around 800,000 small and medium businesses. Year 1993 brought Siebel Systems, an even more advanced CRM, which is known as Oracle Siebel nowadays. It integrated marketing, pipeline tracking, and customer service into a single platform. The entire customer journey managed from one single place. Then came the big one. Salesforce founded by Mark Benioff in 1999, and CRM went online. You could go to the website salesforce.com, log in, and start using an app. I know it sounds like default thing nowadays, but it was 1999. Just browser and a subscription. Small businesses got access to enterprise-grade tools. Remote teams could collaborate in real life. From clay tablets to cloud software, the goal stayed the same. Remember your customers, understand their needs, and create experiences worth coming back for. So, why has loyalty become such a dominant force in modern business? Why have companies poured billions into loyalty programs, customer experience platforms, and CRM systems? The answer lies not just in sentiment, but in cold, hard math. Let's start with one of the most important ideas in marketing: customer lifetime value, or CLV. Imagine two customers walk into your business. One buys once and disappears. The other one keeps coming back year after year, tells their friends, spends more with each visit, and eventually becomes an advocate for your brand. The difference between those two isn't just behavioral, it's economic. According to recent data, customers with an emotional connection to a brand deliver 306% higher CLV than those who are merely satisfied. That's not a rounding error. That's the difference between survival and scale. And here's where things get even more interesting. The majority of companies' revenue, on average 65%, comes not from new customers, but from repeat buyers. In many cases, a small group of loyal patrons account for 80% of future revenue. It's the classical 80-20 rule applied to modern commerce. Retention isn't just a nice-to-have thing, it's the engine of growth. What's more, the economics of retention compound quickly. Bain & Company famously found that a 5% increase in retention can boost profits by up to 95%. Apparently, loyal customers don't just come back, they buy more, they spend more, and they cost less to serve. In fact, returning customers spend 67% more per transaction than first-time buyers. They shop more frequently too. 60% of loyal customers purchase more often from their favorite brands. It's like watching compound interest in a savings account, except it's happening with people and relationships. If you're running a loyalty program, this gets even more powerful. Members of formal programs generate between 12 and 18% more revenue annually than non-members. Top-performing programs like those run by Starbucks or Delta Airlines can lift customer revenue by 15 to 25% per year. And it's not just theory. Some airline loyalty programs have become more valuable than the airlines themselves. Loyalty doesn't just improve margins. It changes the math of customer acquisition itself. Think about how much it costs to win a new customer. Depending on your business and industry, it could be 5 to 25 times more expensive to acquire a new customer than to retain someone you already know. Onboarding, marketing, discounts, those costs add up really fast. But what about a loyal customer? They are already convinced. You don't have to win them over. They are already in your corner. And they are not just easier to sell to, they're more likely to say yes. The probability of selling to a returning customer hovers around 60 to 70%, while the odds of closing with a new prospect drop to as low as 5%. That's a dramatic difference in success rate, and it translates directly to ROI. Even better, loyal customers tend to expand their relationships. They're about 50% more likely to try new products and spend 31% more per purchase than new customers. They're also the ones telling their friends, leaving reviews, and bringing in others. In fact, referral conversion rates from loyal customers often hit 50 to 70%, far outpacing cold leads. So when people say loyalty is emotional, well, they're right. But they're also missing the bigger point. Loyalty is profitable. In many companies today, budgets for retaining existing customers now surpass acquisition spend, because the math simply makes more sense. And yet, not all loyalty strategies are created equal. Some loyalty programs are incredible success stories. Starbucks reward members accounted for 57% of US revenue in a single quarter. Delta's SkyMiles program is so valuable that analysts have valued it higher than the entire airline itself. These programs work because they're more than point collectors. They are ecosystems. They make people feel recognized, rewarded, and feel that they are part of the tribe. But for every winner, there are a dozen programs that fizzle out. Some throw money at discounts without changing behavior. Others reward wrong customers, like giving perks to high-volume buyers who actually deliver thin margins. Many lack the data intelligence to identify their most valuable segments, so they offer rewards for things customers would have done anyway. The result, loyalty program costs skyrocket, but ROI vanishes. And in a world where the average consumer is enrolled in 15 loyalty programs, it's easy to see why 58% of members don't even use the ones they have signed up for. We're seeing what some call a loyalty fatigue. Too many apps, too many cards, and too little reasons to care. Some companies are waking up. Decathlon, for instance, scrapped its traditional cashback program and replaced it with a club model focused on community and experience. Others are pivoting towards exclusivity, personalization, or emotional benefits instead of blanket discounts. Some, like Lidl, don't run loyalty programs at all, relying instead on consistent low prices and high value to keep customers coming back. The message is clear. Loyalty isn't just about points. It's about building a relationship people want to keep. If loyalty has been shaped by evolution, forged in history, and accelerated by technology, then this is where it becomes something else entirely. Measurable, strategic, and transformational. Remember back at the beginning, I mentioned that trillion-dollar loyalty systems often hinge on a single column in a spreadsheet. That wasn't just a figure of speech. It's more real than most people realize. Here's what I mean. Hopefully you already know what a CRM system means. It's a software that helps you manage your relationships with clients. So when companies install CRM software, whether it's Salesforce, HubSpot, Microsoft Dynamics, or Zoho, doesn't matter. They're not just buying a digital Rolodex. What they're really installing is a relationship engine. And at the heart of that engine is something incredibly simple, a field called related to. Let me explain in plain terms. Imagine your customer data as a family tree. You have a parent, let's say that's a customer. And under that parent, you have children. Those are orders. Each order can have its own children, like products, store location, feedback, returns. And this branching structure helps the system understand how everything is connected. And once you have those connections in place, you can start to do something amazing. Track loyalty. When a CRM can link one customer to all their interactions, purchases, tickets, returns, surveys, it starts to see the full story. It knows who's a regular, who buys once a week, who dropped off 6 months ago, who only shows up for a sale. That's when loyalty becomes visible, not as a gut feeling, but as actual data. Most modern CRMs already do this right out of the box. The one field related to is doing the heavy lifting. This is what lets the system connect purchases to customers, calculate loyalty points, recognize VIPs, automate rewards, and personalize offers. Here's approximately how it plays out in real life. A customer places an order. That order is tied to their profile, and based on what and when they bought, they might receive points, get added to a VIP segment, or trigger an email with a surprise coupon, for example. All of that happens because the data is connected. It's not just stored, it's related. With the right tools, you can go beyond tracking. You can design. Want to reward someone who buys consistently every 60 days? Easy. Want to surprise a customer on their birthday? Done. Want to see a message when someone's been active for 90 days? You got it. The most powerful loyalty programs today aren't built with punch cards or guesswork. They're built on structured relationships between people and their behavior, captured over time and turned into personalized journeys. And all that magic starts with one simple field, related to. On that note, thanks for watching. And don't forget that if you need a CRM system, you can always hire me. A link in the description below. Until next time, thanks for watching. Peace.